In lecture number 8, we will now discuss about the phasor diagram of single phase transformer with lagging power factor load. Now this is the complete phasor diagram of a single phase transformer when load is connected in the secondary side and the nature of the load is lagging in nature, means the type of load is inductive load. Now how to draw the phasor diagram, what is the significance of phasors, how the parameters are related with each other, that thing we will understand from this phasor diagram. Now already we are familiar with the no load phasor diagram, and here also some same parameters remains unchanged along with some more parameters we will show here. Now from the operation or basic concept of transformer, we know that the magnetic flux which is produced within the magnetic core, we are denoting it as phi m. Now this phi m here also is considered to be the reference phasor. So phi m is the common factor for which actually the EMF are induced in both the windings, and this magnetic core is actually interlinking both the windings. So that is why in the phasor diagram conventionally most of the times we are choosing the phi m as the reference phasor. So here also it is shown like that. Now with reference to this phasor, we try to draw the other parameters. First of all, what are the primary set of parameters and secondary set of parameters we already have discussed. Here also we will see this same set of parameters with phasor relationship. Now above the phi m phasor, that means the all parameters which are present above the reference phasor are considered to be the primary parameters, and similarly all the phasors shown in this figure which is lying below the phasor phi m is considered to be the secondary side parameters. Now in the primary side parameters, first of all we should give the supply V1 from the primary end. So here how the V1 and E1, these two phasors are related, we first discuss this thing. Now from the concept of transformer operating principle, we have seen that once the V1 is given to the primary end, then obviously some primary current will flow, and once the flux is produced within the magnetic core, the flux is cut by the T1 turns and this E1 is induced. So E1 is nothing but the self-induced EMF due to the flux produced within the magnetic core. Now this V1 and E1 are most of the time very closely related. Closely related means these two phasors in some books you may find are shown together, or there are very insignificant difference in between their values. So that is why sometimes these two phasors are drawn together, but to make it understand clearly, here we are showing all the phasors separately. How? Here you see, once the V1 is given and some current will start to flow from primary end, that current will obviously flow through the primary winding, and as the winding parameters present, so because of that parameters and because of the primary current, some minimal drop obviously should occur within the primary winding, and that drop here is actually shown by these two phasors, that is I1 R1 and I1 X1. So you can say as if the phasor E1 is coming by calculating V1 minus the drop due to the primary windings because of current I1. So this triangle formed by these three arms I1 R1, I1 X1 and I1 Z1 is nothing but the impedance triangle, or you can say this is actually the voltage triangle in the primary winding where the drop occurs due to the primary current I1. This V1 and E1 are related in this way. That means there is a very small difference in their values because of this minimal drop, and the drops are related in this way. So V1 and E1, these are the two primary quantity. Now once this phi m is produced within the magnetic core, already we have said in the no load phasor diagram that one no load current will flow. That no load current we should define it as I naught. So what is that I naught? I naught is the current which is responsible for producing the magnetization of the core as well the loss within the magnetic core. Now this current is actually shown here as the resultant of the two component current. What are the two components current? That is, one is the I mu, which is the magnetizing component and which is drawn along the same phase as phi m, and the other one is the core loss component of no load current, which is drawn along the phasor V1 or E1, because V1 or E1, as these are very close to each other in terms of values, so we can show IW along with the phasor E1 also. Now the phasor addition of these two phasor IW and I mu gives us the no load current I naught. And in the last phasor diagram under no load condition, we have said that the angle made between I naught and V1 can be said as the no load power factor angle. But here we will concentrate on the load, so we are not showing the no load power factor angle here. Now once I naught is drawn, let us draw the secondary side parameters. What are the secondary side parameters? Already it is said that the type of load is inductive load, for which we are getting the lagging power factor angle. Now in the secondary side, E2 and E1, these two phasors are shown together and in opposite direction of E1 or V1. So this part also we have discussed in the no load phasor diagram. E2 is the mutually induced EMF because of the magnetic flux cut by the secondary number of turns T2. So this E2 is actually try to oppose the effect cause for which it is produced. So here actually the main cause is V1, but this figure is showing the elaborate phasors of every parameter, for which here E1 is actually exactly opposite to E2, but in terms of values E1 and E2 are drawn along the same phase and their values differ because of the turns ratio. So E2 here is the mutually induced EMF which is initially induced in the secondary side. Now as the load is connected, obviously the load current or secondary current I2 will flow. Now in the secondary side, obviously E2 is more than V2. Why? Because once the E2 is produced, then only the current I2 is start to flow, and once I2 will flow through the load and the secondary winding, there will come some drop across the secondary winding parameters, just like primary winding drops. So here also the same drops are shown, making an voltage triangle in the secondary side, which is the I2R2, I2X2 and I2Z2. These three are showing the relationship or the three arms of the voltage triangle in the secondary side. And these I2R2 and I2X2, these two are the drop due to the secondary winding parameters because of carrying of the currents I2. Now the secondary side parameters V2 should always be lesser than E2 because of this drop. But in the primary side, what we have just seen, that always V1 will be more than E1, because V1 is the fundamental parameter we are initially giving as supply. Then because of the flow of current I1, the drop is coming, and the V1 minus that drop is the E1. And in the secondary side, just the reverse thing is true. Initially E2 is induced. Because of E2, I2 will start to flow through the load as well through the secondary side winding. Then because of this current, some drop will occur in the secondary winding, and we are getting V2 as if E2 minus the drop due to secondary side parameter. So this is the relationship between E2 and V2. Now how the I2 is drawn? I2 is drawn with some angle of lag phi 2 with respect to V2, because already it is said that the lagging power factor angle we are considering. So for which I2 always should be drawn with any arbitrary angle of lag. Here it is shown as if the angle of lag as phi 2. Now, how this I2 is reflected in the primary side, in the referred value or reflected value, in that discussion we have said that how all the parameters can be referred to one side from another side. Now I2 originally present in the secondary side, but for ease of calculation and for other parameter calculation we should refer the current in the primary side. How? We are just drawing the I2 phasor in the reverse direction. We are just extending the phasor I2 in the opposite direction to get the I2 prime phasor. So what is this I2 prime? I2 prime is nothing but the secondary current referred to primary. So once this is referred to the primary side, now in the primary side two currents can present, or we can say two currents are there. One is the no load current I0 and another one is the I2 prime, which is actually supplying the load in the secondary side. Now this I0 and I2 prime, if we add these two phasor together, then we get the total primary current I1. So I1 is the phasor addition of no load current I0 and the secondary current referred to primary I2 prime. So final current, or you can say I1 is the fundamental or total current flowing from the primary end, which is utilized as one part is utilized to magnetize the core, which is giving us the I0, and another major part which is supplying the load. So this is the overall phasor diagram from which we can understand the relationship between several parameters present within the transformer when it is connected with some load. Now the angle made between V2 and I2, which is the actual power factor angle because of the load connected. So this is altogether the whole phasor diagram of single phase transformer with lagging power factor angle. If the load type is changed from lagging power factor angle to leading power factor angle, that means if, say for example, we change the load from inductive type to capacitive type, then how to get the phasors? The phasor in the remain same, only one thing we will change, that is the position of I2 will now shifted from left hand side to right hand side, just to make it clear that for leading power factor load the I2 should be in a position which is leading with respect to phasor V2. So I2 should be drawn with some angle of lead arbitrarily, and it should be drawn in some leading position with respect to V2. And if we extend that leading current I2 in the reverse direction, that is in the primary side, we should obviously get some other position of current I2 prime, and the phasor addition of that I2 prime and I0 will give the final current I1. And in that phasor diagram you can see that the position of I1 will also come in such a way that it will make some angle of lead with respect to V1 also. So that is the one change we can make if the load type is changed from inductive load to capacitive load, and the power factor angle is changing from lagging to leading power factor angle.